What is up, guys? Bucky Shanks here from Tino Studios at Buckingham Palace. Crazy day today, obviously. Big news dropped. It was a lot more fun talking about Calvin Ridley gambling 8 game parlays. That was a blast. That was a lot more fun than today. Today sits with me, and it sucks. There's really no easy way around it. As you guys know, I'm a Seahawks fan, so this one sucks. This one stings. You care about something or you're passionate about something when it legitimately like affects your mood. And when I had heard about this, I was sick. Like legitimately, like felt like what the fuck. I'm. You get the Calvin Ridley news the other day, which okay, whatever, and then Aaron Rodgers gets paid, and I was talking to Jenna, my fiance, and we were saying, Aaron Rodgers, she's a Packers fan, so we were saying, we need to get up to Lambeau and catch a game and see Aaron Rodgers. We got a few more years, to do that. And in the same breath was saying, I still really want to get to Seattle to see a game and see Russ play. I've seen him play live. We went to Detroit years ago and saw Seahawks Lions, but I still have not made it to Seattle to see a game, in that atmosphere. I kind of regretted not getting there for the Legion of Boom, when they were really on fire and Super Bowl threats every year. So I thought we had a little more time, but then the Aaron Rodgers news drops, and I'm thinking, I wonder if maybe they move him. I guess maybe part is denial. You just don't want to believe it. And I'm thinking there's no shot they move him. You don't move a franchise quarterback. You just don't do that. These literally don't grow on trees. You can't just replace this guy. So you move him, and then what? So they're not going to move him. At least, that's what I'm telling myself. So I'm getting ready to walk out of work, and a coworker sees me getting ready to leave. He knows I'm a Seahawks fan. He's like, "Hey, did you hear about Russ?" What the fuck? What? I'm like, "No, what?" He's like, "Yeah, I traded him," and I'm thinking he's messing with me. And I'm like, "Oh, bullshit." And he's like, "No, seriously, dude." He's like, "You traded Denver." I'm like, "The fuck out of here." So go over there and check with him. He shows me his phone. I pull up Twitter right away. The first thing you see, Adam Schefter. I'm like, you got to be fucking kidding me. I'm like, they really traded him, and it's like getting punched in the stomach. So, it takes a few hours to process that. I'm reading Twitter. I'm listening to NFL radio on Sirius on the way home, listening to their thoughts, reading the threads, the Seahawk pages, the Bronco pages, getting all my shit in order, all my thoughts together. What do I think about this? Well, you got Russ, right? Best player in Seahawks history. I don't think that's a debate. It was probably Steve Largent. It's Russell Wilson. That's my opinion. Right or wrong, indifferent, doesn't matter. I don't care. That's, in my opinion, that's the best player in this team's history. And, I'll sit on that one. And, we win a Super Bowl with them. We got close on a couple others. And obviously the Patriots Super Bowl when we don't run the ball at the one. And, Russ took it on the chin on that. But, I think that's, he obviously threw the interception, and that sucks. But I think that's also play calling. And, that falls on Pete Carroll, who, my next issue. We're going to blow this thing up, and we're going to rebuild with a 70-year-old coach. This guy's offensive theory is 3 yards in a cloud of dust. Play defense. Like, we're going to run this theory into the fucking ground, right? Like, this old school football shit is dead. Like, why are we still doing this? It makes no sense to me. I can't get my head around it. Like, I'm like sick over this. I'm thinking there's no way we're going to move Russ. I get it. He's unhappy and shit. And this stems from a little while ago. I know from the shit I've read, Russ's camp was kind of pissed when, I don't know if it was Carroll or John Schneider or whoever, but went to scout Josh Allen. And I know that had pissed off Russ's camp. And I'm pretty sure it's been pretty sour ever since that. Russ says all the right things, go Hawks and want to be in Seattle, all that, and saying all the right things. I mean, obviously that's just how Russ is. He's going to say everything correctly. But to get to this point, so we got Pete Carroll, we got John Schneider, right? And we're going to build around this. So I've also seen there's been disagreements in the camp. So John Schneider, he gets his guys, he gets a scout team together, they get a plan, the guys they want, and then who they're looking at drafting, and they'll run it with Pete. And then Pete comes in, and from what I'm reading, has a whole different direction and says, no, he's pretty set on this guy, so then they'll go that guy. So I don't know who's the issue with the drafting. The Seahawks drafts have been absolute crap. I mean, they've been dog shit. What are we even talking about? You go back and look at the history of these first round picks. It's a running joke. Like, it got better when they would just trade the guys, or trade the picks rather, and then just get a player. I know they did that when they brought in Percy Harvin. I know that obviously Jamal Adams most recently, and that's not looking so hot right now. So, I mean, if you go back and look at these drafts, I mean, for fuck's sake, like, look at last year. We got Dwayne Eskridge. Like, we already have Lockett and DK. Like, what are we doing? Trey Brown, I think he played okay late, and then a lineman, which we needed, but by the sixth round, like, are we even addressing it? Like, what the fuck? No. 2020, Jordan Brooks, okay, looks like he can play. I wasn't crazy about it at the time, but, that one's looking okay. Daryl Taylor, okay. The rest of the draft, I mean, what are we doing? The rest of the draft, trash. 2019, LJ Collier, I mean, don't even get me fucking started. Marquise Blair, I think can play, but he just cannot stay healthy. DK, obviously, great pick. And then you got Cody Barton, who's I'm pretty sure has been relinquished to just special teams. Gary Jennings, I think, was in Seattle for like a fucking half hour. And then the rest of the draft, nothing. 2018, Rashad Penny. Like, I don't give a shit his last 6 games of this year. This was our first round pick in 2018. We have waited 3 seasons to get anything from this. And now all of a sudden, he's going to get a payday, and he's going to. And it is what it is. I'm sure Seattle will pay him, but we're gonna go with this guy. Finally, the end of the year. So I don't know if it's been dicking around with all these different combos of guys and trying to get a running back. Travis Homer. Who am I missing here? CJ Prosise was there for a short time. Alex Collins we bring back. Chris Carson. He can't stay healthy. His career is probably over. So, not even to get sidetracked, but I mean the draft. So the big thing with this trade is the picks. We got 2 firsts, we got 2 seconds. Oh, and one other thing I want to touch on. Where's my guy? Malik McDowell here. And Tussin can back me. I hated this pick at the time. I thought it was absolute trash. I did not like this guy. I did not think he could play. And that was the first pick they take, their second round pick, but their first pick. And I was sick. I was salty. And, I stand by that one. And then, obviously he gets in his 4-wheeler accident. Thank God the guy didn't, lose his life or anything like that. But, just the immaturity and the dumb shit. And then he can't play because he's hurt. He's ends up getting released. And he goes to Cleveland. Then he looks like he can play for about, a couple of weeks. And then I'm thinking, okay, this guy's going to revitalize his career and I'm going to be extra pissed. And then he ends up, naked at a fucking school or some crazy shit. So it just a shit like that. I mean, you go through these drafts and show me the Pro Bowler. Like, what are we doing in these? Like, Frank Clark, okay. I mean, it was red flags galore come draft day. The guy panned out for a little bit and then goes to KC and gets a fucking ring. Tyler Lockett, great pick. Like that one at the time, and it panned out. Good shit. Then you look at the rest of the draft. Like, yeah, we're all dynasty guys, right? You look at these drafts. Who the fuck are these guys? Who are these guys? Like, I mean, you wouldn't be able to pick these guys out of a lineup. Paul Richardson. I liked this one at the time. Me and Ken, Oklahoma, we used to play college football DraftKings, and this was a big dude. This dude made us a lot of fucking money, Paul Richardson, when he was at Colorado. And so, got to know this guy. We got to scout this guy pretty heavy. This dude was a stud. I mean, and then you see his NFL career. This is shit. I mean, for a second round pick, that's what he, maxed out at. Absolute garbage. And then you look at the rest of the draft. I mean, again, a lineup of who, question mark. Who the fuck are these guys? 2013, Christine Michael, absolute trash at the time, still trash. I'm out of the league for ages now. It's just like we blow these picks, these early picks, and we get nothing in return out of these guys. You go back to 2012 to finally get something, and you get Bobby Wagner and you get Russell Wilson. But look at the first round pick. And I can't even roast Bruce Irvin too bad. 52 career sacks. The guy had a serviceable career, but we reached our asses off on this. It was a joke at the time. It was a laughingstock pick then, and it never changed. I mean, we get Bobby Wagner in the second, Russ in the third, but we get him behind Bruce fucking Irvin. And I can't even remember who was in this draft, but if we go look at the guys we passed on, I'm sure there's something else in there that would have been worth something. But, I mean, so going back to this, we get our draft picks, right? We're getting 2 firsts, 2 seconds, and what are we going to do with it? I mean, looking at our draft history here, probably not a whole hell of a lot. So nice haul, I guess, but for a fucking franchise quarterback that we're going to try to replace with, I'm assuming one of these picks. I mean, God fucking help me if Mitch Trubisky is the answer, or we got Drew Lock in this trade. Please let this be the fucking answer. Let's line him up under center week 1, and I'm going to lose my mind. I'm going to lose my fucking mind. Like it's been hard to root for this team because, you know, the whole let Russ cook thing, and it works. But we're so insistent on handing the fucking ball off to these misfits at running back. And we have a dog shit offensive line, which I get it. You're trying to protect Russ. But his escapability and the shit he makes happen, I mean, we wait to unleash the guy until we're in a fucking hole, and then he has to pull a rabbit out of a hat the whole second half. It's insane. So, I don't know. I'm sick over this shit. I mean, again, the best player in Seahawks history, you know, if you do the Mount Rushmore of Seahawks, you know, football, Russ is on there. Probably the first one on there. You got him, Steve Largent, Bobby Wagner, you know, and then who? And then I don't know. Cortez Kennedy, maybe. I don't know. Sean Alexander, maybe. You know, another old timer that I'm not thinking of at this moment. You know, I don't know. Don't like this. I don't know who you replace him with. I have thoughts. I have ideas. I don't like this free agent class. I mean, I know Jameis is out there. Trubisky's going to, you know, get another crack at this thing. I don't want him. Names are escaping me. Mariota. I mean, you have Russell Wilson, and then I'm reading this list off, and now we might go to this. It's like, what are we even talking about? You know, I know he's going to command a huge payday in a year or two, so I guess we'll see. I don't know. I mean, I'm at a loss for this one. I was not expecting this today. You know, I could have typed a bunch out in the chat and just went rambling on, but I guess it was time to do a video and ramble on, but I can't with this one, man. I don't know. I mean, fantasy-wise, I've got shares of Russ. I think it's a big boost to him going to Denver. You know, Hackett coming from Green Bay, so you get the young offensive guy. That's the way the league's going. It's quarterbacks and it's young offensive coaches that, you know, have their shit in order. I mean, look at the Super Bowl. You got McVay and Zach Taylor. You got Stafford, and he's not a young guy, but he can fucking play. And now that he's on a capable team, he showed that. I know he threw the pick, or almost pick, against, I want to say it was San Fran that was dropped. Otherwise, that probably ends it. But, you know, he got there. And then you got Burrow. You got up-and-coming QBs. You got quarterbacks. I mean, because that's what the league is. And you got the young coaches. You got, look at that division. Look at the NFC West. You got McVay. You got Shanahan. You got Kingsbury. It's all young offensive guys. And then you got Stafford. You got Kyler. I don't know. Jimmy G is probably gone, so Trey Lance. And then whatever the fuck Seattle's going to run out there now. So already a tough division to begin with. Russ leaves and goes to Denver. And then he'll compete with Mahomes. You know, Andy Reid is pushing 70 here pretty soon. So, you know, Hackett is going to be up and coming here. You got Staley with Herbert. We all like Herbert, but Staley, Mr. Fourth Down, who knows? I mean, I don't trust the guy to, you know, do the right thing in a big game until he shows otherwise. And then you got the Raiders, who, sure, they made the playoffs, but does anybody respect the Raiders? I don't think. But fantasy-wise, Fangio's gone. If Fangio was still there, I wouldn't like it as much. Hackett there. We got Sutton. We've got Judy. Fant's gone, but we had Jimmy Graham in Seattle. We didn't really use him much. Whether that was Russ doesn't really, you know, spotlight the tight end a whole hell of a lot, or if that's just a scheme, I don't know. But it looks like it's probably Albert O, who I personally like, so that's decent if you have him somewhere. I have him in a couple leagues. I'm okay with that. And then, you know, the Russ thing aside, you finally get that processed, and then you get a little bit later in the night and you see that the Seahawks released Bobby Wagner, and you get to fucking reprocess, you know, life all over again. So probably the two best players in Seahawks history just fucking were there this morning, and I'm going to go to bed tonight and they won't be there. So that's a tough pill to swallow. That is definitely a tough one. Not sure what else to say on it. We didn't get anything for him, so they saved, from what I'm reading, $16 million in cap space on Wagner, which, like I said earlier, I don't really personally give a shit about it at this point. I mean, cool. we're going to go sign some shit. Jordan Brooks will take over the main role, and Jordan Brooks has, had a great year. So there's that. But, I don't know what the right or wrong answer is. My personal opinion, I fucking hate this, but it is what it is, I guess. As much as I hate that saying, it is what it is. But I mean, I don't know what else you're supposed to say with the shit that went on today. So I guess we put the draft in the hands of these two fucking schmucks, and we'll go from there. So 2 firsts, 2 seconds. So the next 2 years, we got this shit. We'll see what they do in free agency. They've got a boatload of cap space now. So I guess we'll see what all they throw together here. And yeah, just rambling at this point. I don't know. I'm looking, reading through the chats and stuff. See Syracuse, Daryl Taylor, newly acquired Harris is defensive end. Just need to move crusty ass Jamal Adams. Yeah, I don't think you can. Dead cap space, like I was saying in there. Jamal Adams and Lockett's cap space is, I think it's high. I don't think you're moving them. And then Tussin, hopefully Barton plays, but I think that ship sailed. I think Barton is a special teams guy. This may open a spot for him now with Wagner gone, but I don't know. It's hard to say. I guess good thing football's a ways away still. Time to process this and let it sink in. It's going to be shit. The one good thing, or potentially good thing, when all the quarterback rumors were going around, I threw a couple of futures out there on Pittsburgh and Denver. Pittsburgh was plus 6,000 to win the Super Bowl, and Denver was plus 2,200 or 2,500. And immediately Denver now is up to plus 1,200, and they're in the top 5 in terms of odds for winning the Super Bowl. It's funny. I think I threw $5 at it, and FanDuel's already offering a cash out option of like $6.11. So you already could profit if you had a future in there already. I mean, it's nothing. Obviously, it's a fucking dollar, but pretty funny that odds already shifted that heavy and already offering you, profit just off this one move. So, I don't know, the Denver side of it, I don't mind it one bit. I mean, that team is win now. I mean, not a bad team. A quarterback away. I mean, going back and forth between Bridgewater and Drew Lock. Well, now that shit's put to bed. Lock's in Seattle. Bridgewater can just stay a backup, or they could just cut his ass. It don't even matter at this point. Javonte Williams was a fucking stud. Melvin Gordon splitting with them is fine. Receiving core between Judy, Cortland Sutton, and Tim Patrick is decent. Albert O at tight end, but like we said, I don't know how much Rush uses the tight end or if that was the scheme. Thinking of Hackett with Green Bay, Tanyan, but they only had Devontae and pretty much nothing else. These guys have, 3 options at receiver before you get to the tight end. Defense, let's see. I don't know what Von Miller is going to command. I know on Instagram he put out there, is my old locker still there? So maybe he takes a hometown discount to come back to Denver and go back and maybe try to get another ring with the Broncos. Bobby Wagner's floating around there. I mean, I don't know if he chases to Denver also, takes a cheap 1 year or whatever. I don't know. He may command a big salary. He's getting up there in years, but is still a flat out monster in the middle linebacker spot. Surtain is a stud already and only going to get better. He'll be probably the top corner or top 1 or 2 or 3, going forward in his career. He's a stud. Simmons at safety is a stud. That team's nice. I like Denver. I had a future on thinking they were just a quarterback away. I still think Pittsburgh potentially, I don't know if Pittsburgh pulls Deshaun Watson, if he gets his legal shit cleared up and goes there. You put Deshaun Watson on Pittsburgh, I don't know how they could make that happen and get it. I don't know if they have the trade capital. If they pulled him, that team's potentially pretty nasty. But yeah, AFC got another quarterback. So the NFC loses Russ. Brady retires. The NFC is wide ass open. I don't know who the favorite would be now. Green Bay, they find a way to choke every single year, it feels like. Rodgers has been to, 1 Super Bowl? I mean, he needs to get it done in the playoffs here. I know his playoff stats, I believe, are nice, just thinking off the top of my head, and something seems to happen. But I know this past year, the team didn't do shit in the playoffs. So, it's put up or shut up. He's about to get paid, which I think, hurts Green Bay. the depending on what they free up. Now you can transfer a lot of money to guaranteed money that frees up a lot of cap space. We'll see. This is definitely one of the more interesting off seasons that has been. Like I was kind of joking when I opened this thing. This was way more fun when we were joking about 8-game parlays with Calvin Ridley. You can see in the background CB in our OG Tino chat, with the longest yard reference between them, which is pretty funny. Yeah, definitely more fun when we were joking about Calvin Ridley now that, my team is pretty much staring rebuild in the face for God knows how long. If my team could draft, halfway worth of shit, I might be just the slightest bit excited about this. And for those who know me in person, I'm not overly an optimistic person. I'm not. I'm kind of a realist. I pride myself on, being fair. So I'm trying to look at this open-minded, give it the benefit of the doubt. Let's let it sink in. Let's see what happens for a little bit. I don't really get overly excited about shit. I know Daryl will joke with me and calls me grumpy and shit. That's just me. Like I take it as it comes. I don't get too high. Try not to get too low. I don't know. This one struck a nerve though, man. I mean, I love the Seahawks. I do. Not getting to see this team in Seattle is gonna definitely be up there on one of my big regrets in life. I've got a couple in terms of events that I didn't go to or didn't go with the correct person, and gonna take a couple of those to the grave. I think this one is probably gonna be number 3 on that list, and I don't like it. I thought I had more time to get there. I regret not seeing the Legion of Boom with Russ there when that team was kicking ass. Like I said, I saw this team in Detroit. And now I don't know. Now I guess we just wait and see. I mean, if it's up to me, if we're gonna see this thing through and we're gonna build this team back up, I think if you're going to get a quarterback this year, your options, I would probably go 2 options on this thing. And I'm probably going, if I'm gonna take a quarterback at 9, which I believe it's 9 they have if they have Denver's pick. If Malik Willis is there, everything I've read, upside is through the roof. Guy has a cannon. Processing information and shit, I don't know. Character is there, as somebody filmed him, helping out a homeless person, and from a restaurant or something across the street. So he did that when he didn't think anybody was looking. So the guy just has a big heart, which I don't know if that translates to anything. That's just a character thing. It's a thumbs up with his character. The guy's not a piece of shit human being, at least in that aspect. Upside is there. I don't know. My favorite quarterback in this class is Carson Strong. So I know you don't have to blow a first round pick on him, which I personally think is crazy. I'm not crazy on the guys that come out of nowhere and get all this hype. Like I know Kenny Pickett's the hot name right now. And maybe he pans out, and I'm not going to bag on the guy with the small hands thing. I know he's getting dragged for that because, small hands. And then Joe Burrow, I mean, he seems to be doing just fine. I think they said he measured at like 9-inch hands. But, I'm not crazy about the guys who come out of nowhere like that. I like to see a little bit. Carson Strong was banged up this past year, which I'm not going to make excuses for the guy, but he just was. The guy's arm talent is fucking tremendous, and he can do anything with a football throwing it, which is all I personally give a shit about. I know he played at Nevada, not the strongest competition. That argument is starting to kind of go away a little bit. The guy's coming from like North Dakota State and the lower conferences and shit like that. It's not so much just got to play in a Power 5 or your dog shit. So we'll see what happens with the guy. But like I said, if they're going to go 9 and had to go Willis, I don't think the guy's ready to play day 1. I think they would need to sit on him. Don't know how I feel about that. I do feel like this roster has fucking holes. So if you went another route first, whether you grabbed the offensive lineman at 9 and then grabbed Carson Strong in the second, I don't hate that. Or if you just go position and go quarterback next year. From everything I've read, next year's quarterback class is supposed to be a hell of a lot better. We'll see. I mean, I know they're down on this class, not even just quarterbacks, the whole class as a whole. And there's stars in here. There's stars in every single class. So guys we're not even seeing right now, we're not thinking about, are going to come out and are gonna shine. So we'll see. Um, but yeah, I don't know. It was kind of cool talking about this instead of just typing about it. This video's dragged on a little bit now, so I'm probably going to cut this thing off. But if any of you guys actually listen to this whole thing, give me your feedback on it. I know Tehran had mentioned earlier about maybe doing a couple of off-season videos, which I personally don't mind. I mean, I love football as much as the next guy. I've got no issues giving my opinions or talking about stuff, doing these videos, which is fine. I mean, this is no prep work. Like Tino Tonight takes a hell of a lot of time to, produce the thing myself, the slides, the script, so I'm not rambling like this, but this is just, just talking, pretty much talking to you guys. And then there was a live that I can do on YouTube. Well, this thing's gone now, but I had to, I don't know, I had to verify my phone number for some reason for it to allow me to go live. So now it said I need a 24-hour notice and then I can go live. I may just go on YouTube Live and do this, and then you guys can jump in there and, type in the comments and shit. I can see that, and we can just interact that way as well. But yeah, that's my thoughts on this whole thing. I'm not crazy about it. You can't just get another franchise quarterback. I don't know what the move is here. I don't know what their plan is here. I don't know how you're rebuilding with a 70-year-old Pete Carroll and John Schneider, and these guys can't draft worth of shit. So we'll see. Don't like it, but we'll see. So yeah, I will catch you guys in the chats later, fellas.